Hi folks, and in today's episode of Geekology, we are going to play with power. Superpower. Yes, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Or Super NES. Or SNES. Or even SNES, depending on how you like to pronounce it. And personally, I have a lot of good memories about the original system. A lot of people would also say that arguably this is the best console that Nintendo ever released. And obviously there are a lot more powerful consoles these days, but when this first came out, it was pretty good. It was pretty powerful for its time, and it had a great selection of games. See, at this point, Nintendo was a pretty established console maker. This follows the Nintendo Entertainment System, of course, and by this time Nintendo was a lot more confident, not just as a console maker, but also as a games maker, and there was a pretty strong competition with Sega. Now, I actually remember having this system, as well as the Sega Genesis back in the day. That was when both companies were going at it head-to-head globally, and it was, I guess some people would say, the heyday or the golden age as far as classic gaming is concerned. Both had their strengths and weaknesses, of course, but as far as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was concerned, one big advantage that it had against Sega's system was its selection of Japanese RPGs, or JRPGs, which was admittedly lacking when it came to the Genesis system. Anyway, this brings us to the SNES Classic, which, like its little brother, the NES Classic, comes with a selection of classic games from the golden age of old-school 16-bit gaming. Now, personally, I actually like the design of the Japanese and the European version of this console better. I just like the look of it. I mean, I guess this is fine, but yeah, as far as looks, I prefer the other version, but as far as the selection of games, I do prefer this selection over the Japanese version. I guess US and Europe get the same selection of games. So, in that sense, as far as the games are concerned, I do prefer the ones that are included here. These include, let's take a look, Earthbound, of course. That's one of them. There's like a Kirby game, Kirby's Dream Course. That's another one, so that's number 2. There's a Super Punch-Out, so that's number 3. There's also Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. I guess they just get the World Warriors in Japan. So, well, actually, that's... And there's more games, I guess, and the last one is Super Castlevania 4, which is one of my favorite Castlevania series ever. In fact, this might sound sacrilegious to a lot of fans. Maybe it's just because I'm an old school gamer, but I do remember playing Super Castlevania 4 and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which first came out on the PlayStation, of course, and was like sort of a precursor to the Metroidvania type of games. And as far as remembering my initial experience playing both games, I actually had a lot more fun, well, just like a tad more fun when I was playing Super Castlevania 4. Maybe because it had a more classic feel to it as far as the gameplay. Symphony of the Night, of course, it's a bit different, it's good, but like, it took me a while to get used to it, I guess. But maybe it's because I was younger when I played Super Castlevania 4, so I had rose-colored glasses, but I did prefer that just a little bit over Symphony of the Night, though if your favorite is Symphony of the Night, then that's a great game. You won't hear anything bad about that game from me. In fact, those two games, Symphony of the Night, Super Castlevania 4, and the original Castlevania 3, the Japanese version, which I think is better than the US version. Those three usually circle around my top 3 Castlevania games. And depending on my mood, one goes on top of the other, like on certain days. Anyway, I digress. By the way, before I forget, another neat thing about the release of the SNES Classic is the inclusion of Star Fox 2. So that was a title for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System that was supposed to be released way back in the day, but then it got cancelled because of reasons. And so this will be the first official way that you can play the game. By the way, in the interest of full disclosure, this was actually a copy of the SNES Classic that was sent over by Nintendo for review. And that's it for my unboxing and preview of the SNES Classic. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. As always, this is Jason, also known as Tabia7 YouTube, and thank you for watching.